All right, so I'm going to build a picture here real quick. In high side places where I see things like asparagus me the details, like I just want celery stalking. That's it. There is a way, a space, a time, a place where you can literally watch the scope of what's going on from the edges of time and space, and almost like I said it once before, like a storyboard, like in the Harry Potter movie where they have the paintings, paintings, in picture frames, and they all move, or you can interact with each one of them, right? So there's a depiction for you. So when I was watching the route, I don't know, I'll put up a depiction of it, but Sonic the Hedgehog, SONICTHEDGEHOG, there was a rain coming down in several different possibilities of how splits and breakages of my entry point were going to be on the mail carrier, MAIL, and the letter carrier, LETTERCARRIER. Okay, so here's the thing. I have a very important function. I'm a namesake. I'm a nickname. NICNAME, and NAMESAKE, and also name boat, NAMEBOAT, since we're on a ship, which is Earth, at the moment. So, my arrival was incredibly important. However, what I was noticing based on stuff in Estonia with the Nazis and the fact that I'm supposed to marry Hitler, ESTONIA, my entry points to where I needed to be kept getting blocked. And this is in actuality. So what happens is at age 4.5, at 4, I was tested by Mensa. At 4.5, I think I had to be 4.5, almost 5. They wanted to test my IQ in North Carolina. So I went down there. I think it was either 82 or 83. I went down. Then they sent a letter back to New York, because I was in the state of North Carolina. And it was from the, I think, Air Force. But the Air Force, it said I didn't qualify for some reason through, like, I went to Gateway, but the Air Force, the American Air Force anyway, if there is such a thing, because it was an American letter. It was nothing about royal anything. It was regular general, regular Air Force, and it said that I was in like top 7%, I think, of my 4.5-year-old age bracket. I didn't realize there was that many 4-year-olds coming down in North Carolina to have their IQ and GQ tested through. Like, what do you know from, like, the war before? Like, what do you remember, kind of a thing? And, like, what are you here for? Right, one of those. Right, yeah, okay, so let's not be shy, and let's be honest about who the fuck we all are in this. So I would be the Yorkie, Yorkie. They're 7 inches in height. And that's if you're a male, from shoulder to whatever, that's the breed. And it's black and tan, blue and tan, and whatever. I put the colors up today. Those are the Yorkie. I mean, I was born in New York. It also goes back to Ewok, being the E and then the DWOK of a bipedal form for a visual of what would a Yorkie look like as a shorty, which would be myself, next to the 6'5" gigantic gorilla like beast that Nikion can be. How I prefer it when I'm looking for protection, but whatever. So yeah, I would be the short little Ewok who's incredibly smart, but also incredibly quiet. Doesn't usually speak your language, but speaks his language and keeps him tame. Less angry, usually. So let's think about this. What else is there? Right. So they blocked my entry or my exit of New York at age 4.5. Then in 1993-94, Nikion actually came, but more not 40-year-old, but 15-year-old, in Cold Spring Harbor with a gigantic black truck and a couple of guys with clipboards, talking about, I didn't know about college. I was like, I have to go to college? Like, what's that about? And I mean, like, I don't know what I want. I mean, we're getting married. Yeah, why do I have to go to this stupid people stuff? Like, right. So, they were my college advisors, and he had a third-party representative outside of our marriage bed, there with his own clipboard, who met my mom when they dropped me off, said that they were going to come back for me based on, right, what we had discussed, meaning like me marrying him the first time and not going through all the nonsense of this, and having more entry points blocked. So that was in Cold Spring Harbor. They dropped me off, and they were going to come back for me, I think, in the spring. And then my dad lost the house and moved me to Queens, and I wound up in Astoria, not Estonia, Astoria on Crescent Boulevard. That's Astoria, from Mr. Astor ID Eyes in Asteroids and Things in Aeronav. So my senior year, I was there. I now am remembering visionary, by the way. Like, you have visionary. Yeah, that's kind of how star people come. And that's the Lambda equipment. But the visionary reminded me, I was reviewing, however I do that in a moment, my starboard entry point, remembering how I was getting blocked by all the civil rights crap and the fucking women and and then the church people and then the gay people. And it's like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. It's like blocked, blocked, blocked. Okay, so here we are, 5 smart people in the whole entire world. I did not know who you were. I found you on paper in star being territory when I was trying to get overrides. So I sent myself some superhero presents. They've been superheroes according to their superhero paperwork of who they were going to be. Before I was born, in the last ditch effort before I was born to fix my story, based on where I need to be, I found a couple of people. I won't go by name. We'll say one of them was Father Brennan, being in St. John's Episcopalian Church, although he might have enjoyed a CEDAR or two. I don't know. He looked kind of like a gray, bearded, like Scottish gnome, perhaps? I don't know. I mean, he looked very gnomish. Knomish, like he should be somewhere. But he didn't have a funny accent. No, he spoke more like myself, like very flat. But for him, I said, right, so if LAMDA is what I need in star equipment to protect the humans, then, because you guys all have alternating agendas, and then you vote and you become dangerous. So and that's all because there's like a blinking equipment, almost like a, and nobody knows how to read it. Well, I do, but it's in my native tongue. It's my mother tongue, native tongue, not the English. So Let's think about this. Okay, so I needed an override, right? So I had Army Ranger hockey game. I had the Father Brennan at age 18. I had Mr. Hewson, PJ Handsome out of a plane. That he's a carry forward, and like, we didn't do this last time, but if I hit a rough patch, why don't you meet me in a CEDAR of our own in Patchogue and whatever. Right, so that's how that one worked. So any like reference letters or whatever you need to do, and superheroes around the world that I've met that know or have access to research what I really am or how to explain it, because I have no friggin' clue other than I'm like a Yorkie, like born, but super important for breeding, which is how they blocked off the entries, because they're like, well, now you have to tell me, like, do you want to, if you want to jump the turnstile, like as if we're in the subway. This is how ridiculous you assholes were. Not my superheroes, but like the women's rights, the gay rights, the transvestite rights, the black rights, the Hispanic rights, all more important than the one woman who protects the Lambda Seder like intuition and divine inspiration equipment. Yeah, don't mind me, I'll wait for you all to get your shit together. 50 years later. I mean, ridiculous. So they were like, so pick, you either want to have kids or you want to be like us and enter the Air Force the right way with an ass fab. Are you fucking kidding? You know who I am? We sent my stuff up ahead. I mean, you realize I'm entitled to like extra special transport service, right? Like the really secret sacred stuff. I mean, they only have reserved for like few genetics. Right, yeah, I'm one of those. So now you're telling me I need an ass fab to what? Prove to you just how fabulous I don't think so. So I got some overrides of some like real one-on-one that actually got to know me. I didn't know who they were at the time. I mean, when I booked the appointment and I sent them whatever in order to give them some walking instructions and ask for some help around about the planning, like whatever allowance I got on overrides and Lambda equipment to make a couple of commanders go, oh, you know what, this looks like this might be up your alley. Here, you might be interested in this, like, asparagus, me the details. Why don't you go do some celery stalking? Right, yeah, good. Why don't you go with that? I won't give you any details. You just go asparagus that, because there's a par inside of asparagus that really needs some help, and she's a celery, and she needs you to stalk her to help her out with some letters of workaround and jumping over subway toll and turnstiles for all areas stupid human that you all agree. All right, so you remember we gave you in like some Torah or Jewish book, there's like a Passover word, P-A, let's not get like crazy in religion, but here's the important key ops. Passover, P-A-S-S-O-V-E-R, the lambda blood, L-A-M-B, we said lamb blood, over the Seder, C-E-D-A-R. Michael Houston, it sounds in English like cedar. That's where you lived, right? Okay, but anyway, so the Seder is what you put the lamb's blood on the top of the door mantle, and it marks it for the extra special Juru, J-U-R-U, for those of you high up enough to know what a pearlized light energy being is, with 3 black stripes that match the exact black stripes of the energy being next to her, since they're an anon-katon system of not human all the time. But in this version that you need help, yeah, we heard the call and here we are, born here. But there is image of it, and however you have whatever you do. So, right, I need workaround letters. If I don't know where they go, I don't know how that works, but if somebody could hand a couple of those in for me, I know I met a couple of superheroes, I just don't know your names, or how to get in contact with you. But if you see this or know someone, if you could pass it along, greatly appreciated. On let's not pass over the one Star Wars personnel that knows Lambda equipment is blinking on and off like Christmas lights, and I'm supposed to be married to Nikki On, and there's only like one of them allowed to be named.